NVIDIA can make all the Blackwell chips at once. TSMC has plenty of wafer capacity. But 3.6 million GPU orders are stuck in a queue, waiting months not for computing power, but for how those chips get stacked together. The bottleneck isn't the chip. It's the package. And most investors have never even heard of it. In this episode, we'll answer 3 questions. First, why did chip packaging, a process most people ignore, suddenly become the single biggest constraint on AI hardware? Second, how does one company control 70% of the most critical packaging capacity on the planet? And third, beyond TSMC, which US-listed stocks give you direct exposure to this bottleneck? For 50 years, chip makers solved every problem the same way: make transistors smaller. But physics has limits. Below 3 nanometers, the cost per transistor actually goes up. Moore's law, the engine of the entire semiconductor industry, has stalled. So engineers found a different path. Instead of shrinking chips, stack them. Take the processor, the memory, the I/O. Build each one on the best process it needs, then package them together into a single system. This isn't incremental improvement. It's a fundamental shift. The chip package is no longer a passive container. It's become the architecture itself. Think of it as a sandwich. At the bottom, you have a silicon interposer, a thin wafer that connects everything. On top, you place chiplets, the GPU die, the I/O die, and stacks of high-bandwidth memory, or HBM. This is CoWoS, chip on wafer on substrate. TSMC's signature advanced packaging technology. Why does it matter? Because an NVIDIA Blackwell GPU doesn't work without it. The GPU die alone is useless. It needs to be physically bonded to HBM stacks with thousands of microscopic connections, all running at terabytes per second. No CoWoS, no AI chip. And HBM itself is a packaging marvel. 8 or 12 layers of DRAM, stacked vertically and connected with through silicon vias. Each stack is barely 2 millimeters tall, but delivers bandwidth that traditional memory can't touch. Here's where it gets interesting for investors. TSMC doesn't just lead in CoWoS, it has a near monopoly. And its biggest customer, NVIDIA, has locked up 70% of all CoWoS capacity through 2025. That means every other chip company, AMD, Google, Amazon, Broadcom, is fighting over the remaining 30%. TSMC's CEO confirmed it publicly. CoWoS capacity is sold out through 2026, with bookings stretching into 2027. The lead time for new CoWoS orders? 18 months. That's not a supply chain, that's a waitlist. And TSMC isn't a niche packaging house. It's a $90 billion revenue company. But advanced packaging still represents only 7 to 9% of its total sales. Roughly $6 to $8 billion. That number is about to change dramatically. In my view, no other company will replicate CoWoS at scale before 2028. Intel and Samsung have tried. Neither has a credible roadmap to match TSMC's yield or volume. This is not a duopoly, it's a monopoly with a waiting list. TSMC is spending aggressively to expand. Monthly CoWoS wafer capacity, 35,000 at the end of 2024. 75,000 by end of 2025, a doubling. And the target for late 2026? 130,000 wafers per month. Nearly 4 times 2024 levels. The capital expenditure tells the story. TSMC's total 2025 capex is $40 to $42 billion. 10 to 20% of that, roughly $4 to $8 billion, goes specifically to advanced packaging. And the advanced packaging capex is growing at 24% annually through 2027. But here's the punchline: even after quadrupling capacity, industry analysts say CoWoS will remain supply constrained through at least 2027. Demand is growing faster than any fab can be built. Now let's talk about the other half of the sandwich: high bandwidth memory. In 2024, the HBM market hit $18.2 billion. In 2025, it's projected to reach $46.7 billion. 156% growth in a single year. By 2028, analysts expect this market to cross $100 billion. That's a 5x increase in 4 years. 3 companies control the entire market. SK Hynix, the pioneer, held 53% share in 2024. Samsung had 42%. And Micron? Just 5%. But the rankings are shifting fast. This is the most compelling US stock story in the entire advanced packaging ecosystem. Micron entered the HBM market late. In 2024, it held just 5% share. By mid-2025, it had climbed to 21%, overtaking Samsung for the number 2 position. How? Micron's HBM3E was the first to pass NVIDIA's qualification for next-generation systems. That's the golden ticket in this industry. The financial impact is staggering. HBM margins are approximately 5 times higher than standard DRAM. Micron's HBM revenue hit a $2 billion quarterly run rate by late fiscal 2025. And management confirmed that both 2025 and 2026 HBM production are completely sold out. For a company with a $25 billion annual revenue base, HBM is becoming the single most important growth driver. And the highest margin product Micron has ever sold. TSMC can't build CoWoS capacity fast enough. So who picks up the overflow? The OSAT companies outsourced semiconductor assembly and test. Amkor Technology, ticker AMKR, is the largest US-listed OSAT. Advanced packaging now represents 82% of its revenue. The company is investing $950 million in 2025 to build a new campus in Arizona directly serving the reshoring wave. ASE Technology, ticker ASX, is the global leader in outsourced packaging, with 26.5% market share. Its advanced packaging unit, called LEAP, generated $600 million in 2024, up 140%. Management guided LEAP revenue to more than double, hitting $1.6 billion in 2025. When TSMC is overbooked, AMKR and ASX are the release valve. Every packaging line needs inspection and bonding equipment. 2 names stand out. Onto Innovation, ticker Onto, makes the inspection systems that verify advanced packages. Its AI and advanced packaging revenue grew 180% in 2024. Net margin, 20%. This is a sub-billion-dollar company growing into a multi-billion-dollar upgrade cycle. Kulicke and Soffa, ticker KLIC, makes the bonding machines that physically connect chips. Its thermocompression bonding business has grown 10 times in 4 years. 30-plus systems shipped to 5 major customers. As CoWoS and hybrid bonding scale, KLIC's addressable market expands with every new packaging line. Let's put it all together. 6 companies, 1 investment thesis. TSMC, the CoWoS monopoly, $90 billion in revenue, 70% of the critical capacity locked up. Micron, the HBM challenger, climbing from 5% share to 21%. With margins 5 times higher than standard DRAM. Amkor and ASE, the OSAT overflow plays, both doubling down on advanced packaging investment. Onto Innovation and Kulicke and Soffa, the equipment layer, growing faster than the companies they serve. The thesis is simple. AI compute demand is outrunning packaging supply. Every company on this list benefits from the same structural shortage. And the shortage isn't going away for at least 3 years. In my view, the most likely path over the next 2 years. CoWoS remains the binding constraint on AI chip deployment through at least 2027. With TSMC capturing the majority of value. But OSAT partners taking a growing share of overflow. Watch these 3 signals. First, TSMC's quarterly advanced packaging revenue. It's currently around 8% of sales. When it crosses 10%, likely by the 3rd quarter of 2025, the market will reprice the packaging thesis. Second, Micron's HBM market share. If it holds above 20% for 3 consecutive quarters, through early 2026, the competitive mode is real. Third, OSAT CAPEX announcements. AMKR and ASX both guiding CAPEX up 50+%. Confirms demand isn't softening. Positive catalyst. NVIDIA's next-generation Rubin architecture demands even larger CoWoS packages, widening the bottleneck further. Negative catalyst. TSMC capacity expansion runs ahead of schedule, relieving the shortage faster than expected. Upstream, advanced packaging drives demand for silicon interposers, specialty chemicals, and photomask equipment. Downstream, every hyperscaler's AI deployment timeline is gated by packaging availability. The AI story everyone knows is chips. The story nobody's watching is how those chips get assembled. And in investing, the best opportunities hide where nobody's looking. I'm Big Z, follow me, see you in the next deep dive.